Well, welcome back to the Mission Foods Sonoma Speed Tour. This is Group 10, the monsters of SVRA, starting here, and we've got a little bit of a Trans Am theme. Thomas Merrill, TA2 competitor, out here in a TA Ford Falcon GT1 car, running Goodyear tires. Of course, the Trans Am series presented by Pirelli runs Pirellis, but all kinds of different cars in this group. But Thomas Merrill, we saw his dad, Ross Merrill, out in the last group. Lots of fun. Scott Winder's here. Check this out. His wing has a wing. That's the kind of cars that we have here in Group 10. Crazy, super wide Porsche here. This beautiful yellow 3A. Then we go over here, Scott Borchetta. Big Machine. Look at this, the guitar pick. I love this. But from Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers, Big Machine Vodka, running in TA2 tomorrow. But this is his TA2 Group 10 Meissen chassis that he runs with us. Another Porsche monster here, the number 44, this white Porsche. Check out all the little rubber shavings that he's collected here at the Mission Foods Sonoma Speed Tour this weekend. And again, his wing has a wing, which is crazy. Then we come over here, let's talk to Chris Heinz. Chris Heinz helps prepare this car. This body from Walt Brown, one of my favorite drivers. Pink gloves, gentlemen. We've got some pink in-car gloves, but Chris Heinz prepares this car. Chris, tell us about this crazy Pink Panther.
Well, it's a pretty cool car, actually. It's an 87 Rookie of the Year car, and they didn't have any paint, so they gave him some pink paint, so they painted it. Kurt painted this car pink. It's pretty bitchin'. I like it. And the Panther's pretty quick today, so we'll see what we can do with these Porsches up front.
Nice, I love it. That kind of Pepto-Bismol pink is amazing. Steve Goldman races with us in TA, sometimes is here with us in Group 10. He actually got into a car. Wasn't his fault. The crew bumped it out, worked it out. He's very fast, so look for him to move up. And then we started the stock cars. So we've got this beautiful stock car here. Matt Ward, unbelievable. Then we go over here. This is a championship runner-up Irv Hare car, a Gentilozzi Rocket Sports car driven by Gordon Johnson. Beautiful car. And then this car right here. This is it for me. I love this Porsche 935, unbelievable. The turbos on this thing are bigger than the tires on my Mini Cooper. The history of this car, look at this. This is to cool the brakes when they were doing their endurance racing. See those fins? That brings air into the brake ducts to cool the brakes. Super wide Porsche 935, a ton of history in here. The Mark Martin car, Steve Kent, so much cool stuff. And then that monster, Richard Goldsmith at Decon Monza. This was kind of the last big American IMSA Camel GT competitor, was the Decon Monza, and then the Porsches took over. Some great cars in this field, but gentlemen, it's getting way too loud. I'm gonna send it back to you.
Awesome stuff, Ben. And Ben, I'm sure, will be joining us because he can see the passion he's got for this particular group, Group 10, coming up. And well, Scott, they don't really need any introduction when you start touting Mark Martin cars from NASCAR, and then that Decon Monza you particularly like. Tell me why.
Well, Al Holbert was always a favorite driver of mine, and Al Holbert won the 75 and 76 Camel GT in a Decon Monza. It was the number 14 W.D. Crowley's car at the time, and again, as Ben said, Holbert was the last American manufactured car to actually win the Camel GT, and it's funny that the Porsche is almost right beside him. That was the car that took over and dominated. On Monza, actually it was Holbert that recognized the possibilities and capabilities of this car, and at the end of the season, the previous season before his championship run, he called up Horst Queck and Lee Dykstra from Decon Engineering, ordered the Monza. It either has a 4.6 or 5.7 liter engine in it, and it only weighs about 2,800 pounds. So great power to weight ratio, and Holbert a great driver. And yeah, it was just a favorite of mine. Again, Al Holbert, one of my favorite drivers. And the Porsche 935, as you know, legendary with drivers Peter Gregg, Hurley Haywood, John Fitzpatrick, Brian Redmond. You can go down the list. Bob Aiken, you know, Danny Ungaius, the glory IMSA Camel GT days.
This is one of my favorite parts of American racing, and it's sort of not forgotten, but certainly here at Trans Am and SVRA, I love the signaling and the way they choreograph I mean, it's all part of a both historical and traditional way of going racing that is purely American, and I'm sure the Japanese and the Australians and the Brits tuning in will find it fascinating to see how you guys go racing.
Yeah.
Out in action in TA2, and certainly one of the favorites for this, the start of our Group 10 feature race 1 from Sonoma. Away they go then, and Merrill takes the green flag and leads the way ahead of Scott Winders in the 911, the all yellow number 3, as they go up the hill and turn into turn 2. Nice clean start, and everybody, as we look down above, has got away well, but now it gets tricky from here on in.
Yeah, it's a technical part of the course from here on in. That Ford Falcon has been far and away the fastest car, and it's a little bit of car, a little bit of the driver. The Falcon is a kind of what would, I guess, be considered a compact car at the time, but it was very potent at the time. It was turned into a drag racing car during the day, and also a road racing car. One of the top Ford Falcon drivers and one of the top Ford Falcon engineers, Tommy Riggins, was very prominent in the Ford Falcon days. And that Porsche Winders has been on the same pace as Merrill, but Merrill usually steadily pulls away from him. Jonathan?
Yeah, that was a good start by both of them. Yeah, in terms of qualifying, no question Merrill was faster, but I agree. Winders is looking really good now in that 911 in second.
There are so many famous cars in this group, I don't even know where to start, but just true SVRA fashion, they're throughout the field. The 2 cars in the back that should be in back, maybe 2 of the coolest cars here, both Grand National, before the NASCAR series, before they named it NASCAR, the 1969 Ford Talladega, the Dodge Charger. Big Red is here. One of the most famous cars. It's run in La Carrera through Mexico. It's done the Bonneville Salt Flats. They set it up for just different kind of racing. Well, it's here, which is unbelievable to have it here, a 555 under the hood. So cool to have these cars. And then just all the stock cars, all the NASCAR cars, like we were talking about the Mark Martin cars. And then this car here of Winders, where I said that his wing has a wing. That is just a super fast Porsche.
Yeah, that Ford Talladega, that was actually named after the Talladega Motor Speedway. It opened in 1969, and Ben, as you mentioned, it won the Grand National Championship with David Pearson driving, and then also it won the ARCA Championship that same year with Benny Parsons driving, both of those going on to great NASCAR Hall of Fame careers.
And I've put in-car cameras in these cars, and no power steering, no power brakes. They're huge cars. It is like an exercise, a physical exercise in these cars. So for these gentlemen to come out, Ron Miska and Doug Schultz, thank you guys so much. Just putting on a fantastic show. R.J. Gottlieb in that 1969 Chevy Camaro Big Red. Unbelievable. Look at this, though. Scott Borchetta bringing it up with, I think that's Brian Lawrence behind him in the 69 Porsche 911.
Yeah, it is. Good battle.
Look at that. Locks up the right fronts.
Goes wide. Rare mistake from Borchetta, and the 44 is trying to pass.
Now, the Porsche should have the advantage throughout this section, but there's not great passing zones throughout here.
Pretty modern car. It's a 2020. Not this one. This one's 1969.
Yeah, Dodge Charger that Doug Schultz raced, that was raced by a guy named Ray Elder back in 1972. They had 46 races in that particular season. Ray Elder won one of them, finished 52nd in the standings, but a great testament to the history of SVRA, history of NASCAR. And you're seeing it right here in front of you if you're here at the track, and obviously right in front of you if you're watching here on SpeedTour.tv/YouTube.
Beautiful day here in the wine country of California, just outside San Francisco, at a place they used to call Sears Point, but we know now as Sonoma Raceway.
Now those Porsche 911s, they used to have an IMSA GTU class and an IMSA GTO class. It was kind of pretty much the training ground, I guess you would say, for the IMSA big cars. And those 911s were just absolutely terror in the GTU class. Them and Mazda RX-7 usually had a very good battle for the championships, but as the Porsche progressed, obviously it went into the 935 and the 962, and they continued their storied winning in the Porsche factory.
I had a question here from Dubhead. Is that a real 935? That is the real 935, yes. You are seeing that correctly.
K3.
Which is just crazy to see out here in our Group 10. And then there's Goldman out there in that number 13. Steve Goldman from the Pacific Northwest, a 2002 TA eligible because he raced with us at Group 10 in Portland a few years ago. And I said, hey, man, you want to run in TA? And he gave it a shot and was really quick in TA with us.
So how did they do the damage there? That's an odd one.
I think somebody locked up and anything about it and hit him. Not his fault. It's just kind of the unfortunate things that happen when you're racing here.
Yeah,
Great flag shot there from the Mission Foods Sonoma Speedtour.
Yeah, Karen Ty in front of him, and Goldman was just getting ready to go around her, and she spun. He said he thought he had her passed, but his nose just caught one of the corners of the car, and that crew spent all night long trying to smooth that out and get that nose fixed up.
So here's two friends right here. Looks like the Irv Hare car of Gordon Johnson just took Walter Brown, both from the Phoenix area, both running equally yoked cars. That's a beautiful car there, that Gordon Johnson. That's a Paul Gentilozzi Rocket Sports car. And there goes Walt Brown in the Pink Panther.
He said it was quick, and it is.
Very quick, yeah. Both those cars are very quick. They're both with Aerolane. I spoke to Chris Heinz with Aerolane. So if you're in the West Coast and want to have your car set up well, look at Chris Heinz and Aerolane, because obviously Walt Brown and Gordon are having a blast out there.
And I believe that's a battle for position. I believe those are both GT2 cars. Brown and the Camaro, I think this is a Z28, and the Olivetti Neolife Oldsmobile Cutlass. Cutlass had a very storied history both in IMSA and Trans Am as well as SCCA. It won 4 national championships with a variety of drivers.
Yeah, you're right. They're both GT2, GT2G.
Both
Here
gold
we're looking
medallions.
at Steve Goldman back up here. Gold medallion cars, yeah, that's right, from Optima batteries.
Then what makes a gold medallion car?
Gold medallion means they have to be raced as they were raced back in the day or prepared back in the day and then they have to have just really good either patina or livery. Like this is a gold medallion car, and look at this badass Dodge Charger.
What a beauty.
Olympia there, Doug Schultz. That is one of the Grand Nationals. Look at the livery on this. This is what NASCAR used to be, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I don't have the information. I'm trying to see there, but I was reading his board. They all display boards on our paddock, but that's one of the most historic West Coast Grand National cars.
Beautiful.
Hall of Famer.
1972.
And Jonathan, that car is 50 years old.
Looks like he's coming in.
Look at the beautiful preparation on that car.
I know.
So Doug Schultz is coming in, did exactly what we asked the drivers to do, indicate that they're coming into pit lane. So thank you, Doug, and thank you for bringing that car out. What a great show.
Into the Spike Coolers corner.
Here's that 935, followed by the Decon Monza. And really, the Decon Monza was kind of put out of commission by these 935s back in the day.
Yeah, the IMSA championship was contested between Holbert. And the last championship year he won was just the starting of the Porsche 935s before they went to the Kremer models, which was actually built in a factory adjacent to the Porsche Stuttgart factory. And the reason they were called Kremers, they had a K2 and a K1, and this is a K3. This was most advanced before they went to the 962. But yeah, first couple of races, we had something called All-American Racing Group. And John Paul Jr. had a huge blue Chevrolet Corvette, and he tried his darndest after the Decon Monza, as you say, was kind of put out of commission by these Porsches, to stay with them. And he would finish in the top 5, but he really wasn't a contender. It was basically Porsche. If you wanted to go IMSA, if you wanted to win, you had to call Stuttgart and order a Porsche 935 Kremer.
Wow. White flag is out. We are under one more lap to go. And this has been a fantastic exhibition stroke race. And I say exhibition because we've been given a nice bit of knowledge from each of you today about these cars, which I'm sure really does bring them alive, because it really is. We've got cars all the way to 2020 down to 1969, that Ford Talladega, which is just magnificent. I too am with you, Ben. I do love that, and I remember that Porsche with the Japanese writing around the world. I think it went to Le Mans too.
Yeah, that's a beautiful car. And I just heard from Mr. Thunder on our YouTube that that Gentilozzi Olds, that Gordon Johnson has always been one of his favorites. So keep them coming. There's our leader, Thomas Merrill.
That is a really unique looking car, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's 2 of them that were built as he passes the Hardee's car from Days of Thunder.
That's right.
But no Rubbins racing today, boys.
No, that's certainly discouraged here.
And you're not kidding, are you? That is the Days of Thunder car.
Oh, yeah. That car started in Days of Thunder. Yeah, and look at this. Here comes Thomas Merrill coming down in this beautiful T8 car. I know Bill Riddell years ago owned one of these Falcons. I think 2 were built, and I'd love to see that thing racing in the TA Heritage class this year.
Yeah, that was the car that I was talking to you about, Jonathan, while Ben was coming up here that Tommy Riggins built. And he had one time owned the fastest lap at Daytona Speedway in a Ford Falcon. Obviously, it was Ford Falcon body. It was not necessarily a chassis, but it was Ford Falcon body on that car. But Riggins, an excellent engine builder and very instrumental in starting Bill Riddell in his career.
So Thomas Merrill, the California kid, and the legacy of the Merrills here in California from Salinas, California down the road, puts another win on the board. The Ford Falcon from 2008 is the winner of this race, and Scott Winders in the Porsche 911 started second and finished second, and Scott Borchetta in his 2024 Mustang takes third position, and both Merrill and Borchetta will be in action, of course, later in the weekend. My thanks once again to Ben Sissel and to Scott Conway. We'll take a short break from the wine country. Why don't you do the same? We'll be right back.